We will now like to start the press conference for Foreign Minister Hayashi. Please.
If the situation allows, through the 17th to 19th, I will visit Munich, Germany, and attend Munich Security Conference. At that meeting, I will attend the session on regional security in Indo-Pacific, where I intend to speak about Japan's foreign and security policy based on new national security strategy decided at the end of last year. Also, taking the opportunity, coordination is underway to hold first G7 Foreign Ministers meeting, first one under Japan's presidency this year. Thank you.
We would now like to take questions. Please raise your hand if you have any questions. When your name is called, please come to the microphone, state your name and affiliation, and ask your question. Asahi Shimbun, Uechi-san, please. This is Uechi of Asahi Shimbun. I would like to ask a question regarding the former civilian workers from the Korean Peninsula. The senior officials meetings between Japan and ROK has confirmed dialogue in this area. When you go to the Munich Security Conference, do you have the intention of discussing with the foreign minister? And in the run-up to G7, there is a call for resolving this problem by taking leadership.
Thank you for the question. At the November last year, Japan ROK summit meeting was held, where once again views concurred for the early resolution of the pending issues between Japan and ROK. Responding to that, since consultations on the foreign authority has been accelerated, and last month I had a telephone conversation with my counterpart, Foreign Minister Park Chin. On the February 14th or the local time 13th, while in Washington, D.C., sub-cabinet level consultation meeting has been held. Frank exchange of views had taken place over general issues of Japan-ROK relationship, inclusive of the former civilian workers from Korean Peninsula. By resolving the pending issues, we would like to have Japan-ROK relationship to become normal and develop that further, and concurrence of the view was made once again for continued communication. Ever since the normalization of diplomatic relations was done in 1965, based on that foundation, we hope to have a bilateral relationship to come back to a normal situation and further develop it. And for that purpose, close communication will be made.
Yomiuri Shimbun, Abe-san, please. This is Abe of Yomiuri Shimbun. You have mentioned regarding the Munich Securities Conference as well as for the G7 Foreign Ministers meeting. I would like to ask a question. I understand that coordination is underway. In terms of timing, it's been 1 year since the aggression into Ukraine. And since Japan is the presidency of the G7, with the foreign ministers, are you going to be holding a meeting in person? What is the significance of such a meeting, and how would you like to position this opportunity?
Yes, as I said to you before, in Munich, under Japan's presidency this year, the very first G7 Foreign Ministers meeting is coordinated to be held. Russia made aggression against Ukraine, and it's almost 1 year since that invasion had begun. Having that in mind, we would like to reaffirm G7's will to safeguard international order based on rule of law.
NHK, Iwasawa-san, please. This is Yoshimasa of NHK. Regarding the Turkey earthquake in the southern part of Turkey, I understand that aid work is underway, and the affected people's plight will be prolonged. Do you intend to provide additional support, including ODA?
Yes. Japan had experienced big natural disasters, inclusive of the Eastern Japan Great Earthquake. Therefore, in Turkey and Syria, We are making all our efforts to provide maximum support to people who have been affected by the earthquake. So far, vis-à-vis Turkey, the relief team and healthcare team have been sent as a part of our international emergency team. And in order to provide assuredly and promptly the necessary materials, already transport by SDF aircraft have begun. Besides, vis-à-vis Turkey and Syria, decision has been made to provide emergency relief goods like a tent and blanket. And in terms of financial humanitarian assistances to two countries, coordination is underway to promptly implement emergency assistance based on ODA. Going forward, government intends to provide promptly necessary assistances to the affected area based on the local needs. And I also ask Japanese people to provide whatever assistance as they can to the affected people.
Digital Press, Tanaka-san. Tanaka of Digital Press. You have talked about Japan-ROK relations. I would like to ask a follow-up question. Within the ODP, at the Hiroshima G7 summit, this is a major event. There is a high call for resolving this issue by then. What are your views?
I would make a comment one by one on the discussion underway within the ruling party. As I said to you before, there was a leaders' summit held where early resolution of the pending issues have been reconfirmed, and consultation on the foreign authorities have been accelerated. So close communication will be kept with our counterpart in ROK.
Yomiuri Shimbun, Abe-san. This is Abe of Yomiuri Shimbun. I have a question regarding the balloon. Last week in this press conference, U.S. shooting down of the balloon was a question posed. And after that, in U.S. and Canada, there have been identification of such balloons. And in China, it has announced that high-altitude object has invaded their territory. What are your thoughts on these series of events?
I understand that the U.S. administration announced that on local time February the 4th, high-altitude surveillance balloon launched by China has been taken down. Infringement of other country by any country is unacceptable in terms of the sovereignty. U.S. administration said that China infringed the sovereignty in an unacceptable manner and explained that cautious and legal responses were taken to safeguard their own people's sovereignty and safety. Japan supports the stance of the United States. It's important that China will come up with full accountability. Also, on the 10th local time, off the coast of Alaska, and also on 11th over Yukon territory of Canada, and on 12th over U.S. state of Michigan, high-altitude objects that can threaten civilian airliners were taken down by U.S. fighter jets. That's my understanding. I see that the U.S. Canadian government are making confirmations on the objects. And further on the two things, China said that unidentified flying objects have been discovered off the coast of Shandong Peninsula, making preparations for taking it down. So we would monitor closely the developments.
With this, we would like to bring this press conference to a close. Thank you very much.